All right. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is Campus Connection. It's another Tuesday. It's a lovely Tuesday evening, and we are so grateful to be here with you. I'm Anessa, and I will be your host for today's show. I'm I am just stunned. I'm in awe of just how we were able to go through some of the I guess you would want to say they're overachievers. Last week we were able to share on some powerful stories from people who are making their mark, and that's one of the things I love about the show. You're going to leave inspired. You're going to leave feeling like you can do it, and so this show is going to be no different. Today, we're going to be dealing with Bright Sparks, and it's part two of this particular series. Last week was so good. We felt like we needed to bring this topic back again. And so, of course, we're going to be continuing our conversation with Mr. Paul Park, a very powerful testimony of how he was able to overcome the odds despite having dyslexia and just coming through a real winner. But before we get there in today's show, though, we do have for you education news and bulletin or creative block segment, which, as always, we are looking forward to just a wonderful time. And we also have our I Chose Christ feature, which will be brought to us by a second year architecture student at the University of Technology on today's show. And so it's quite a bit. I'm certainly looking forward to the creative block segment. I'm seeing a familiar name, someone I haven't spoken to in years, but she is a content creator, and we're definitely going to chit chat with her a little bit later on in the show. So if you haven't already done so, listen, guys, now is the time to log on to our live stream. We're live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok. Now is the time to log on to make sure that you are in the comments, just saying hello, say hi, say good evening, and just, let us know that you're here, because we do want to just ask your opinion and get to know how you feel about our social media question for today, which is, what is your definition of students who are considered to be bright sparks? How would you define bright sparks? Is it somebody who is a bookworm? Is it somebody who, and this is no shade on the bookworms, I myself one. Is it someone who, they just excel in everything? Or is there something more to being considered a bright spark? We definitely want to hear from you. So leave us your comments in the chat, or you can also call us on our studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. You can even send us a message on WhatsApp or a voice note at 876-997-3125. So that's what we have lined up for you. And as always, our Campus Connection show today is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security's Live Good Anti-Violence campaign. And we certainly will be hearing more about them in our Campus Alert feature. So jump on to the live stream, guys. We're missing Jonathan on today's show. He badly wanted to be here, but just couldn't make it. And so I'm looking forward to you all being my co-host today. So please log on to our live stream and leave your comments. What do you think, or how would you define a bright spark? Who is a bright spark? We definitely want to unpack that. Now for a Campus Alert feature, which is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security, who in collaboration with Young Scholars Education Limited hosted a cybersecurity forum at the University of Technology earlier today, Tuesday, September 17. Now, the event itself served as a stage to engage in a dialogue surrounding the importance of cybersecurity, surrounding career opportunities and even the challenges affecting businesses and citizens concerning these topics. And so this event featured a forum which had panel discussions, it had expert presentations, interactive sessions, which were geared at focusing on the current threats to national security, the implications of that, and the critical role of public private partnerships. So, we're encouraging you to get to know more about this cybersecurity issue. It's extremely important, and you can reach out to the Ministry of National Security for more details on that. Now, if you have something that's happening on your campus that you would like for us to highlight, we definitely want to hear from you concerning those things. And so please reach out to us. Let us know if you have something going on your campus. We want to hear from you concerning that. Now, we want to have a word from our sponsor, the Ministry of National Security, and their Live Good anti-violence campaign.
See all my face bruise up? They beat me just because I said I'm tired.
I'm only 13, but they said if I work harder, they will make me go back home.
Me not have no birth paper nor no ID. Them have all of my documents then.
Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. Report suspected cases of human trafficking. Call the nearest police station, 119 or 888-PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Okay, where are the campus eyes? Students are strapped up in a prize.
All right. You just heard from the Ministry of National Security's Live Good anti-violence campaign, and it's now time for Education News and Bulletin, which will be brought to us by our campus consultant, Camille Lawrence.
Education News and Bulletins for Tuesday, September 16, 2025. The Ministry of National Security's Cybersecurity Forum. The Ministry of National Security, in collaboration with Young Scholars Education Limited, hosted a cybersecurity forum at the University of Technology earlier today, Tuesday, September 16. The event served as a stage to engage in a dialogue surrounding the importance of cybersecurity, career opportunities, and the challenges affecting businesses and citizens. The forum included panel discussions, expert presentations, and interactive sessions focused on current threats, national security implications, and the critical role of public-private partnerships. Education Minister supports schools on discipline, says parent failings cause schools to take over. Amid heated debate over the enforcement of grooming rules at the start of the new school year on Monday, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dickson has pledged the support of her ministry to administrators of schools as they enforce discipline. Addressing the launch of Shortwood Teachers College's 140th anniversary celebration on Wednesday, Morris-Dickson argued that due to a great lack of regulation in many Jamaican homes, discipline must be maintained as an irreplaceable pillar in schools. The education minister told the audience that schools have been tasked to greatly emphasize their duty as a societal institution, taking on both primary, a role that is vested in families, and secondary socialization. She declared that an educator's impact on the socialization of students must not be understated. Since Monday, there have been reports of students across the island being locked out for breaches of rules governing hairstyles and dress codes. In response, Morris-Dickson reiterated the ministry's stance that no student should be locked out of the school compound and should instead be permitted entry. And where there are matters related to possible grooming infractions, these should be discussed and addressed in collaboration with the parents to ensure compliance. But in a clear signal that this did not mean the ministry would allow students to breach school rules, Morris-Dickson told those at the Teachers College on Wednesday that she is dedicated to ensuring that schools are seen as places of learning and instilling the necessary principles that will allow students to grow into valuable members of society. Students urged to know constitutional rights. Upper Sixth Form student at the Carteret College, Brittany Bryan, is calling on her peers across the island to become knowledgeable about the Jamaican Constitution and their rights. Addressing the 2025-2026 ceremonial reopening of the schools in Manchester at the institution in Mandeville on Friday, September 12, Ms. Bryan, who has ambitions of becoming a lawyer, said the document contains the rights to which citizens are entitled, and those rights are not for adults only. The Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs has an active public education program on the country's laws, the legislative process, the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, and the government's legal and constitutional reform agendas. The program, which engages various stakeholders, including students, also seeks to enhance access to justice and improve public awareness about constitutional rights. Ms. Bryan, who is a member of the Peer Council at the Carteret College, is also encouraging students to protect their mental health as they begin the new school year. Students can access mental health support through the Ministry of Health and Wellness Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Helpline at 888-NEW-LIFE. That's 888-639-5433. And now for the bulletins. Get ready for the Passion and Purity Co-ed High School Conference 2025 under the theme Fully Jesus Lit. Come for the dance, come for the drama, come for the panel discussions with inspiring speakers, Reverend Stevenson Samuels, Dr. Daniel Thomas, Pastors Andrew and Danette Norman, live ministry performances by Darren Callum, Chevelle Stewart, David Sutton, and the Genesis Praise Squad, all happening at the Cedar Grove Academy, Gregory Park Main Road in Portmore. Admission is free. Saturday, October 4, 2025. And don't miss our Christian Teachers in Action Forum, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with guest speaker Mrs. Elaine Foster Allen, former principal of the Shortwood Teachers College. Mark your calendars, spread the word, and don't miss out on Passion and Purity Co-ed High School Conference 2025, October 4, starting at 9 a.m. That's the education news and bulletins for Campus Connection. I am Camille Lawrence.
And thank you so much, Camille, for that education news and bulletin. And now I believe I mentioned this earlier, but I just want to reiterate the question that we have for you all. What is your definition of a bright spark? And already I'm seeing some messages coming in from our WhatsApp line. So the number is 876-997-3125. And someone says a balance is necessary. They say bright sparks in academia can become burnt out while learning. They can have social issues and can potentially become narcissistic. And so it's important to have that balance between being an academic and being, just socially aware, becoming someone who gets involved in other areas of life. And I kind of agree with that opinion. I do kind of agree with that opinion. I remember my days of being at Merle Grove High School. I literally was a part of, I was that NUF student that was a part of everything. And it just made me more rounded. It made me more confident, made me more socially aware and more approachable overall. And that's one of the things that sometimes can be taken for granted, how much just your social skills have to do with you being smart or being considered bright. But that's a very, very important part. And so keep them coming. We want to hear more from you in terms of what you consider to be a bright spark. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we return, we have our Creative Block segment, and we're having a very, very special guest. I will wait until after the break to introduce her, but we're going to this break now, and when we return, more Campus Connection. Stay with us.
The time beggars could move is
5:45.
The End Period Poverty Campaign, sponsored by Always, is here. Help us change the reality of our girls who don't have access to period products. From August 1 to September 30, for every pack of Always products you purchase, we donate a pad to girls in need. So go to your local supermarket and help our girls have access to period products.
Beat the heat with Fontana Pharmacy and ATL. From August 18th to September 19th, spend $10,000 or more at any Fontana Pharmacy island-wide and you'll have a chance to win amazing prizes. And the grand prize, a brand new AC unit from ATL. Simply write your full name, telephone number, social media handle, and email on the back of your receipt and place it in the entry box in store. Conditions apply. Visit our socials and website for more details. Authorized under the Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Let's get digital. TAJ is now issuing all motor vehicle registration certificates exclusively digital. You need an email address for the process and instructions will be sent to you. No more stickers, no more paper. Choose your registration period of 6, 12, or now 24 months. Private motor vehicle operators can renew online, but for all other motor vehicles, you must visit a tax office. For more info, call 888-829-4357 or visit jamaicatax.gov.jm. TAJ, working together to serve you even better.
Me just never did I get through with no work, and me did I get desperate. Till one day me see one ad, but them want somebody for work at a massage parlor. Trust me, the place was nothing like them advertised. From the very first day, I had to be giving much more than massages.
Verify the legitimacy of job advertisements with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call the nearest police station, 119 or 888-PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. It is another lovely Tuesday evening. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about bright sparks. And I want to hear from you. What do you define, or how would you define a bright spark? This is part 2 of our series on this topic. And of course, we have a very, very special guest who is joining us. Her name is Anya Romay Holloway. She is a content creator, and I wish Jonathan was here right now because it would have been like the good old days of UTEC Students Union. But certainly, it's a pleasure to have you on, Anya. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It feels like such a reunion.
I know, Jonathan. Wherever you are, you're missing it right now. But tell me, Anya, you're a content creator, and I know this is the creative block segment.
Yeah.
You're a content creator. I know in this age, it's not easy to really make your mark in that space. So tell me a little bit about you. Why did you decide to go that route, content creation?
All right. So I believe it would have started from, I guess, our journey back at it.
Right.
I, of course, having decided to introduce the digital platforms to the sporting body from UTEC days, it really had me tapping into that space from early. So, I started getting to understand the digital space early, understand what the audience looking for. And, well, for those of you who don't know, I am really into sports marketing, so sports digital marketing. So my niche is sports. So with that, I've been, in the space for, I don't want to give away my age, but, UTEC days, college.
A couple years.
A couple years now. So
Right.
it's been over the years, having gotten experience of just being in the spaces, being in traditional spaces as well as digital spaces, really to understand the platforms. And yeah, we experience creative blocks here and there. And of course, the industry is getting a little saturated, but it's all about knowing what's your niche and just trying to expand on it. Yeah.
And I love that you're specifically into sports marketing. I remember days of UTEC, you would always be having your phone capturing a clip of somebody running, somebody playing cricket, somebody kicking a football, something. So I know you've been in this space for a while, and it really is your passion. But tell us a little bit about what you're using to try to stay relevant? Because I know that passion is driving you, but how do you now stay ahead of the game somewhat as you're doing sports marketing?
You have to be eager. So I know earlier you mentioned, being the enough one when you're in school and all of that. You
Right.
have to be eager. You have to be in the spaces. You have to understand and just accept that change is gonna happen, and you have to stay on top of it. So because technology has been evolving ever since, so
Right.
every other day there's a new update. Every other day there's a new software to help us kind of lessen our load and be more effective. So it's really staying on top of the game. And as it relates to the content, it's what I've noticed is that our culture likes the personalized content. Our culture likes the storytelling, especially for sports. So
Yeah.
it's always a new story out there. So really
Mhm.
and truly, while they say in marketing, nothing new is under the sun, but is when you go out there and you find somebody's story to tell through videos, through pictures. I think
Mhm.
that's what really gives it the edge each time. So it's humanizing the content, making it
Yeah.
personal. That really keeps it out there.
That's amazing, and I find that the journalists and the marketers and the people who make their content more human,
Yes.
that does make a mark. So have you ever? You sound like somebody who's never had the experience of creative block.
Ooh.
Someone who has never just felt like you don't have any inspiration. But have you ever had that experience, and how did you
Oh
overcome it?
yes. I think just being told to walk it off. I cannot have that following me in life.
I
Just
sound like
walk
a
it off.
coach.
Yes. Having done sports almost all my life, I think walk it off. I've taken it in so many different ways now. Sometimes we just need to step away from our piece.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need to step away from the computer, step away from the digital platforms actually, and be in the environment, and so you can feel feel the energy off of it.
Right.
I actually saw your co-host at a match once, and we were just there chatting, and it was in that instant we started thinking of new ideas to create some content, and we got some sponsors involved, and that's what it takes. Sometimes you just have to step away, have some conversations with some people, and the ideas spark.
Right. I
It
love
happens
it.
though.
I
It
love it.
happens though. It happens a lot.
So tell us about just any inspiration or any words of motivation, I would say, that you would have for someone who might be considering content creation, specifically sports content creation. What tips or advice would you have for them?
My general advice is create that portfolio and post your content. I cannot express it enough what putting your work out there can do for you. Because I would have experience where I was with a media company and someone from external parties would have seen my kind of content and they're like, hey, I want you to come and cover something for me. Like they had to do up a whole form to my company and say, hey, can I just have her for 2 weeks just to cover something? And that's because you put your work out there. So my advice is put it out there.
Portfolio building.
Post it and build your portfolio. It's important.
Love it. So I know I mean, I feel like this discussion was just too short. We definitely have to have you on again. But is there anyone you'd like to thank for just your success, your achievement so far? Is there anybody at all?
I'd like to, I guess, pick up a group of people. They would have definitely been a part of some of my career highs. It's the Sports Marks family. Of course, my family, my friends have always been there, but I can definitely say that my Sports Marks family would have really gotten me to some career highs. And sometimes they're the ones who just sit and knock some dominoes with them and get some ideas. So big up them for where I am, and of course, God, of course, for the guidance, the guidance and the protection throughout it all for the long journey. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much, Anya, for making it Campus Connection, and for it was good talking with you. We definitely have to have a proper reunion when Jonathan is back. But yes, we appreciate you coming on, and we wish you all the best from all of us here at Campus Connection.
Thank you so much. All the best, and yes, we should catch up.
All right, take care, Anya.
Bye.
All right, you just heard from Anya Ramey Holloway, and she's a content creator, but specifically a sports marketing content creator. And she too who is a creative. We're going now to our I Chose Christ feature, which is brought to us by Shamario Dunn. He is a second-year architecture student at the University of Technology. Listen in and be blessed.
Hey guys, my name is Shamari Dunn and I am a second year architecture student. And my testimony comes on the basis of having faith in your crisis or courage in your crisis, standing firm in what you believe. If Jesus Christ have called you and changed you and transformed your life and taught you standards, taught you how to operate and believe, don't compromise regardless of wherever you go. You may be on campus, you may be in high school, wherever you are. Understand that Jesus has called us to be uncompromising in our faith, choosing to be resilient, especially as young people in this time and this dispensation. My testimony comes on the basis of that I was assigned to leadership positions on campus. And because I refused to entertain certain behaviors, certain activities here on campus, refusing to compromise my stance in what I know is righteousness, I know is standards of God's grace and mercy, and refusing to compromise on the same, the two positions were revoked from me because I refused to accept that which they were entertaining. Not that I was being unrighteous, because I know I'm not perfect, because his word declares that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But when he has shown you that which is good, when he has shown you and given you the ability to discern between right and wrong, we have a responsibility to stand up against the enemy. At my church, we are taught when the enemy attacks, his attacks must be met with violent force. I'm not saying you should be disrespectful. I'm not saying that you should overrule authority. But when there are particular chain of command, when there are rules and regulations set out to govern you as a leader in any institution, wherever you step, please stand up for righteousness. They were taken from me. The positions were revoked because I refused to accept a particular behavior by a sector of persons on campus. And that for me gave me the opportunity to say, guess what? Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Jesus' ministry was characterized like that. He was never known in his first part of his ministry. Then he was known by everyone, popular. And then in the third part of his ministry, he was rejected. He was rejected because of what he stood up for. So if you are going through anything this year, and you may feel alone, understand that you are never alone. And because I chose Christ, because I chose to stand up for him here on campus, they refused to enroll me back in my position. But I know Jesus Christ is with me. So today, I chose Christ, and you should too.
Thank you so much to Shamario for just letting us know and reminding us the importance of making a stand for Christ, even if it means that you are the least popular one, even if it means that there are certain privileges that are removed from you. It's still worth it because you would have made your Heavenly Father proud. And with that said, we are going to jump to another quick break. But when we return, we will be talking with Mr. Paul Park. He's back on the show for this episode, and he's a guidance counselor, a lecturer, and he's going to share some more on how he was able to overcome his challenges with dyslexia to become the bright spark that he is today. So you definitely want to stay with us. More when we return on Campus Connection.
I want to go on campus. Young people are going hard on campus. Come on, tell me back one. Campus Connection.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock.
Let's get digital. TAJ is now issuing all motor vehicle registration certificates exclusively digital. You need an email address for the process and instructions will be sent to you. No more stickers, no more paper. Choose your registration period of 6, 12, or now 24 months. Private motor vehicle operators can renew online, but for all other motor vehicles, you must visit a tax office. For more info, call 888-829-4357 or visit jamaicatax.gov.jm. TAJ, working together to serve you even better.
See how my other face bruise up? They beat me just because I said I'm tired.
I'm only 13, but they said if I work harder, they will make me go back home.
Me not have no birth paper nor no ID. Them have all of my documents them.
Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. Report suspected cases of human trafficking. Call the nearest police station, 119 or 888-PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Nothing beats the Love 101 September Bonanza. That's 15% off any advertising package. That's more savings, more spots, and more reach for your business. But don't wait. This offer ends September 30. Call us now at 876-968-9596-7 or email sales&marketing@love101.org. Let's grow together. Conditions apply.
Where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. If you're just joining us, I'm Anesta, and we are talking about Bright Sparks, Part 2. And of course, Campus Connection is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security's Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign. And before the break, we asked a question. What is your definition of a bright spark? What does it mean to really be a bright spark? And let me tell you, today's guest, he actually started his testimony from last week. And I believe he's going to build upon that testimony even more. But we're definitely going to go back into some of the things he shared in case you missed it. His name is Paul Park. He is a lecturer. He is a guidance counselor at the GC Foster College. Now, he serves as an assistant returning officer, a court-appointed mediator, and a justice of the peace. Not to mention, he also serves faithfully in his church. He's a deacon and a district youth director. Now, Mr. Park, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again.
So Mr. Park, you shared last week about your challenges being in high school, leaving high school, not being able to read, and at the time having dyslexia, but no one even diagnosing it, no one even knowing what that condition was. And so for those who might be just joining us for the first time, share with us a little bit of what that was like, what the challenges were in that space.
Well, unable to read, write, spell, it even affects some part of your mathematical functions. So I could not decipher between letter sounds, right? So between U and O, I could not tell you the difference. Between C and K, I can't tell you the difference. Between I and E. So it was so severe that even some letters were difficult for me to recognize and to differentiate. So if you put B and D together, I would call one for the other. And if I'm asked to spell a word, what I hear is not what I'm able to replicate on paper. So it was extremely difficult, and I could not express myself. I could not explain why I'm unable to do this. And so because the teachers back then were not trained in special needs, they just didn't, I don't want to use care, but they didn't know how to handle the situation.
Right, right.
Best thing to do is to use the belt, because
Right.
that solves all problems.
But you mentioned having just a miraculous experience. Actually, you mentioned two. And I'm wanting you to speak more on that second one where you were getting ready for the exam. Tell us a little bit more about just how, you experienced a miracle right there.
Well, I was called back by a teacher to the high school. Having gone through high school, unable to do any subject, left there without a subject. This teacher, somehow she saw something in me, and so she went to the principal and begged the principal to take me back. And then she began to, build on my self-esteem and encourage me to do the subject. And I was saying to her, but Miss, I am unable to read, I cannot read. I might be able to do the practical component, but not the theoretical part of it. Anyway, to please her, I did it. And then at the end, when I was told that I passed and get one of the highest in the Caribbean, I said, no, this is impossible. Because you're speaking to a person who is still unable to read.
Right.
I don't know what has been written on the paper because I can't spell.
Wow.
But that was for me the second greatest miracle. And then I went to camp and I got saved. And I said to God, Lord, if you are real, let me do English in 7 months and let me pass it. I was very specific. And so I enrolled in an evening program. And when I went there and the lady recognized that I can't read, she specifically said to me, you need to leave my class. And I said, why, miss? It's my money.
Wow.
She said, because I'm marked for CXC and you're going to carry down my reputation. You're unable to read. There's no way you can pass the exam.
Wow.
I said to her, well, this is my money. And I continued and I persevered. But the Lord gave me a scripture, and it is from Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 20. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask.
Yes.
So whenever she pushed her insults on me and whenever she embarrassed me in the class, the Lord would bring up the scripture, and it brought such an assurance to me and a confidence to continue. And I continued until it was time to pay for the exam. She needed to sign a part of it, and she refused. She said, you are not going to take my reputation and show it to dirt.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very respected in the fraternity. I'm marked for CXC and I always get 100% pass. I'm not signing it. But the scripture rose up in me and said, what I did was every evening I left work early and I went to her office and I gave her the paper and said, Miss, sign the paper for me. And she would tell me some nice choice words. And we went to class. And I did that for about 2 weeks straight until she grabbed the paper, signed it, and threw it to the window. I took it up and I went and I paid for my CXC. And so when the results came out and she went and saw that I passed, she held the paper and was walking through the staff room and said, oh no, look, a miracle, this is a miracle, you can't read. And that was my third miracle. And so I said, Lord, you're real. You are real, because still I'm unable to read and to process properly. But somehow I managed to pass. I passed that exam. And then I said, all right then, God, since you're real, what do you want me to do? And I felt the urge to continue. And so every single year after that, I would do one exam because I did not trust my abilities. I still needed the help in regards to my self-esteem. And so after I completed those course of studies, having attained those subjects, I got a job at a factory. And I was working night shift, and one morning after leaving that factory floor, I heard distinctly the Lord said to me, go straight to Michael and tell him that you want to get into college.
Wow.
And I said,
You're trying to figure out who was talking to you.
no, God, me can't. This is not what I want. And the Lord and I was having a conversation because I now see myself, because I love cooking so much and catering, I see myself becoming a chef or working as somebody in that industry.
Right.
Industry. So I said, Lord, I really want to be a hotel manager. Me and school no mesh, and look what ill treatment me get. But I was having the conversation with the Lord, and when I stepped out of the factory and entered the road, a vehicle drove up right beside me and stopped at my feet. And the person said to me, where are you going? And I said, Michael, I don't even know how the word fly out of my mouth. And the person said, come in, man, may I drive fast there, so me give you a ride.
What?
I went into the vehicle and I was still having the conversation with the Lord, and I was trying to convince the Lord that, boy, this don't make sense. I mean, it was
I'm sorry, you said you were trying to convince the Lord that this
I was saying, by God, the odds are stacked against me, really, you know what I mean? At September now, I don't have no money.
Right.
Struggle through school didn't make sense.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, when I arrived at Michael, I said to them that I want to get in college. And the person looked at me and look at the other person, and they said, we only have one space left, sir. If you can pass this test, you're in.
What?
I did not inquire at the time what was the one space. I just said, all right, I work with you, Lord. I took the paper, did the test. After the result, they say, all right, you pass. You need to go up to the head of the department and speak to that individual so that they can get you formally into the college. When I went, I recognized that the one space that was left was industrial arts. No, I did food and nutrition in school. And the only subject I have in industrial arts was electrical technology. And why I did it was because my sister was in love with the subject and she started to show me the content. And I said, all right, let me try it. And I did it and I passed it. So that was the only subject I had in the area. And when I got in and started to go to, remember now, school started, it is in September, so I have to catch up.
Right.
And I didn't even know where the money was coming from. And my parents didn't have it. And I was just moving by faith. I was just trusting God, moving by faith. When I started school, my peers said to me, but there's no way you can finish this program in 3 years. I mean, it was the diploma at the time. You don't have the requisite subject, you don't have the requisite knowledge. And I continued pressing on until I reached to the point where I said, all right, no, God, how am I going to work this? Because I have my school fee to pay.
Right.
Money, I need to buy toiletries, I need to support myself. So I went to the registrar and I said, Miss, I need a job. And she said, we don't employ students over here. I said, Miss, I need a job. And she sat me down and she inquired what was happening to me. And she said, all right, don't worry yourself, I'm going to try something. The following week, I got a job in the library bag packing department.
Wow.
Thank you, Jesus. Because it was a flexible one. I work before classes, during class, after class. Whenever there was a break period, I would go and I would work because I needed the money. I went through first year, but when it came, first semester, when it came for me to do the exams, I was saying in December, Lord, how am I going to manage this now? Because you and I know that I am not bright.
You know, I'm sorry to cut you, but what I'm finding so funny about your story is how you keep trying to tell the Lord what you can't do, and He keeps trying to prove to you what you can, in fact, do. You know, that's a
Yes.
powerful. We're jumping to a quick break, but that's just a powerful note to jump to our break on because you really have to know that God does really have everything under control. But yes, we're jumping to a quick break. When we return,
Me just never did I get through with no work, and me did I get desperate. Till one day me see one ad where them want somebody for work at a massage parlor. Trust me, the place was nothing like them advertised. From the very first day, I had to be giving much more than massages.
Verify the legitimacy of job advertisement with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call the nearest police station 119 or 888 Protect. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Remix the summer with Digicel. Start school with amazing deals on phones, plans, and home fiber internet from Digicel. Conditions apply. Digicel, better connected for back to school. And the time by Digicel is now 6:16.
Time is running out. This is your chance to level up. Register now for the CXC June 2025 exams with the Overseas Examinations Commission. The deadline is February 21, 2025. No delays, no excuse, just success. Visit www.overseasexams.org.jm to register. Call 876-618-3721 or email help@overseasexams.org.jm. Follow us at Overseas Exams on social media. The Overseas Examinations Commission, Jamaica's examinations hub.
Me just never did I get through with no work, and me did I get desperate. Till one day me see one ad where them want somebody for work at a massage parlor. Trust me, the place was nothing like them advertised. From the very first day, I had to be giving much more than massages.
Verify the legitimacy of job advertisement with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call the nearest police station 119 or 888 Protect. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a Christ. We see we are.
All right. Welcome back to Campus Connection. I am Draven Johnson. Just want to apologize for Anesta not being on right now, having some technical difficulties. But we are talking with Mr. Paul Park.
Yes, sir.
And he is, Paul, proud of you, Virgin.
Thank you, Paul.
For those who don't know, Paul is my batchmate from the Michael University, and Paul, I didn't know all of these things that were happening. And so as we continue the conversation this afternoon, Paul, we want to share some more, about that journey. You were saying at Michael, you weren't necessarily ready for the exam.
Yeah.
And you're doing industrial techniques. So you can just continue. I think we have Anesta, she's on, and so Anesta will continue to share. Go ahead, Anesta.
Yes. Terribly sorry about my little technical difficulty there. But yes, welcome back to the show. Mr. Park, I'm certainly enjoying this discussion. I feel like we need more stories like yours to inspire our young people, to remind them that God can make a way, even when it seems like the odds are all against you.
Oh, yes.
And
he is a miraculous God.
Yes, and speaking of bright sparks, I'm just curious to know from you, when it comes to now transitioning to your career, which you're multifaceted, you're multi-talented, you're doing so much at this point in your life, what would you say has really contributed to you making it this far?
It is the power of the Holy Spirit. That's all I can say. He had
Yes.
me before I was born gifts and talents that I was not aware of. And I recognized that the devil wanted to stop all of those things.
Mhm.
So from early, I was, being hampered with this disability. But when I recognized that the Lord's hand was on me and I was being used by Him, I said, "All right, God, I will do whatever you want."
Yes.
And I just started trusting Him and just started to follow His leading.
Mhm.
So the things that I am involved in is directly because of the Lord's leading. Somehow He opens the door and I just walk. I just walk.
I love it. And I feel like there are so many who need to know that to have God is actually a good plan. It's a good life plan. It's a good career plan to know the Lord. Tell us a little bit more about any challenges that you might currently face and how you're able to overcome them, being, the bright spark that you are now.
Well, one of the challenge I face continually as a person who is suffering with dyslexia is that sometimes the words that you would write or the sentences or the paragraph, um, you are not seeing as the person with dyslexia the mistakes that are being made. So one of my strategy is I need to read over and read over and read over. So next you write once, and because you're bright, you're confident in what you're doing, and you just send off the information. For me, I have to read it over and then read it over and then read it over, right? So that's one of the challenge. Overcoming self-esteem issues was one of the issues
Yeah.
I had to get over from a pretty young age. So while I was at college, I recognized that these issues, if I did not face them head on, they would deter my progress. And so one of the things I did was to say to myself, I will never have a pity party.
Yeah.
And also, I say to myself, guess what? I might fail in this thing, but I am not a failure. And I always challenge myself. Sometimes I know I'm going to be embarrassed, but I will challenge myself to do it. For example, public speaking. I wasn't a person who could look you in the eye or stand up in front of a crowd and speak. And one day, somebody at church said to me, guess what? You're going to pray this evening. In the morning, I could not eat my dinner. My father who was noticing what was happening said to me, Richard, one tea and I eat. I said, why, daddy? The lady tell me, say me have to go pray. I'm nervous.
Nervous.
And he gave me some advice. He said, all right, when you go up there, hold the mic, squeeze it, transfer all the nervousness into the mic, and look straight past everybody, look to the end, see if you can find somewhere on the wall, and just focus on it. I followed his advice, although it never worked still. I could only say amen and then hand back the mic and came down very embarrassed. But from that, I said to myself, I need to get over this.
Yeah.
And so whenever there was an occasion for me to do public speaking, I volunteer. Even if I know that I might do badly, I volunteer. Because I said I have to get over it. So sometimes in life you have to hold the bull by the horn.
Yeah.
Face up.
Yeah.
Your difficulties and face up those things that you lack and say, all right, let me see if I can work on it.
I love the fact that you are so open to challenges. You don't, it's like you don't back down from a challenge. Would you say that that's a necessary skill or a necessary mentality to have if you're going to be successful, if you're going to be a bright spark?
Yeah, you see, one of my strength is believing in the word. You see, when God gave me that scripture, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask. I think I literally believed it. And I
Yeah.
said, but anything I put my mind to, God can help me to achieve it.
Yeah.
And so I said, then, all right, if that is the case, I have the power.
Yeah.
I am going to know. It wasn't a part of my personality to not to back down, but I infused this in my personality, and I said, guess what? You are going to be the person who is going to stand up.
Yeah.
Be the person who is going to be the standard. And so I can be hard on myself. Sometimes I try to discipline myself a certain way. And when I realize I'm getting overly bearing, I kind of back up. But I want to, some of my prayers, I said, Lord, help me to walk worthy of the vocation in which you have called me. Because I know that if the Lord place this gift and talent to whom much is given, much is
Much is
required.
required. Yeah.
So you need to demonstrate the power of God in this earth. And as a representative, your standard is excellence. And so you have to rise to the occasion.
I love it. I love it. And I feel like one important thing that persons might need to hear at this point is just what words of encouragement would you give to someone who might have had their moments of failure? They might have just done CXCs and did terribly, or they're coming from all of their final exams, they didn't do so well. How would you encourage them based on your perspective and the things you've overcome?
Yeah, this is just such a very crucial point. One of the things you must recognize is that you are not a failure. You have failed at this, but you're not a failure. You must also recognize that if you give God a chance in your life, He can rewrite your story and rewrite it in such a way that when persons who knew you and knew that you have failed see what you have now become, they will only say, this must be God.
Yeah.
So give God a chance in your life. I encourage everyone, if you have, done poorly on your CXC, I remembered, coming home sometimes and my report card would show 0, 0, 0, 0. I was just the honorary member of the Zero Club.
Wow.
And I had a chance to either take this and say, this is me, or to reject it and say, I'm going through a phase in life. And I want to encourage you to say to yourself, this is just a phase I'm passing through.
Just a phase.
Tell yourself that, guess what? Better is ahead. Tell yourself that the Lord is going to rewrite my story and I just need to work hard. So one of the things I do is to set goals and work hard at them. But set realistic goals. Set goals that, guess what? I failed 10 subjects. Let me not do all 10. Let me try 5. So set realistic goals and ask the Lord for his help.
Love it.
Don't forget your support system.
Yes.
You need a support system.
Yes. Thank you for those words of wisdom. And it's even more effective when it's coming from someone who has actually walked the walk. They've experienced it. And so thank you so much, Mr. Park, for making it Campus Connection, for sharing your wisdom and insight. I'm sure so many persons were encouraged by the things you shared. So we wish you all the very best as you continue to excel in your career, in everything that you're doing. Thanks for making it Campus Connection. And thank you to all of our viewers, to all of our listeners, to every single person that came on today and just shared with us. Thank you to Anya, our content creator. Thank you to Shamario Dunn for the I Chose Christ feature. And again, thanks to Mr. Paul Park. Camille Lawrence was our campus consultant for Education News and Bulletin, and we certainly appreciate her. Thank you so much to our producer, Jermaine Johnson, our technical support, Niku Angus, to our campus liaisons, Shania, Danielle, David, to Miss Eden Palmer, our news support, and to Ruth Lawrence and Camille Lawrence, our consultants. Thank you to Raquel Robertson, our digital media consultant as well. And to you who listened, who watched, who gave your comments, we certainly do appreciate you. Thank you for making it Campus Connection. It is brought to you, of course, by the Ministry of National Security's Lift Good anti-violence campaign. We'll see you next week as we explore more things while going on campus. Bye-bye.
You're tuned to Family Radio in Jamaica. We're Love 101 FM. The time is now 6:31.